Let's go to the phones. Kevin is on the line from Florida. Kevin, what do you want to know?
Thanks for taking my call, guys. I would like to know about the housing market in Southwest Florida, specifically in Naples, Florida. As you know, it's not been particularly good, and now mortgage interest rates are increasing. I'm wondering how that's going to affect the housing market here as well as in other parts of the country. And is the Fed going to do something to perhaps keep those interest rates down? Because a 1% to 2% increase in mortgage rates, that can be a big difference in terms of affordability for the average consumer.
Kevin, very good question. We have to go to Big Joe Clark, who's in the middle of the Midwest. He's not in Florida. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody from Florida with us. But, Joe, big picture, you can lay it out, the impact of rising rates and how much more the Fed will act, if any, to keep those rates down.
Sure, and actually, he does have a lot of my Hoosiers down in Naples. We go from Tampa all the way down to Naples. It's almost all Midwesterners that live there. So, you know, my mom is in Sarasota listening today. So here's the deal. We with money try to tell the world how it is and how we think that it is. And the reality is, economically, interest rates going up does change the affordability factor. But, my friend, here's the problem. You have to have 20% down to go buy a house most of the time now. And it's not the 8% or the 5% or the 6% or the 7% that is stopping some people from getting houses. It's that they've been told the last 5 years they needed to have no money down, and now they have to have 20%. So the economic reality of what's happening in most people's lives hasn't changed that much because the Treasury has started to take off. Now, that being said, Bernanke is doing a pretty good job talking his book, as we call it. They had pretty much pledged to keep the 10-year down and to keep the 30-year down and to agree to buy back some of our debt. And here the last couple of weeks, he kind of slid on that deal and is trying to let the markets work itself in. I think we have a couple problems. One, we never want to start a sentence with, is the Fed going to take care of this? Because we want the markets to work, right? I mean, honestly, we want the Fed to keep things from getting out of control. Bernanke is probably doing the right thing. I would not expect him to jump in and to begin to buy a lot of paper to push those yields back down, at least at these rates.
We should point out buy more than the Federal Reserve has pledged to already buy, because it's $1.25 trillion worth of mortgage securities that the Fed's in the process of buying. $300 billion in longer-term treasuries. They've bought about half of that $300 billion that's been allotted. Now it appears it's unlikely they do more than that, but they're doing some, and there's more buying on the way.
And people should understand that when the Fed comes out and buys this stuff, it pulls rates down. So
it has. However,
but
what this weird circular logic is, the Fed is spending all of this money to hold down rates, but then people start worrying about the maybe inflationary impact of what the Fed is doing, and then the spending in Washington, and it becomes a circular problem that the more money the Fed pumps into it, maybe the higher rates go, because it spurs worries about.
Unfortunately, that's where we are right now. Congressman, do you want to comment on all this?
Yeah, I would. One thing I'd like, I mean, you're absolutely right. The long-term challenge is the rising rates that will occur eventually if we don't start pulling the Federal Reserve out of the quantitative easing program that it's been in. But it has a lot of room to maneuver. It could, for example, begin saying that it will soon tweak its commitment to having the federal funds rate be at 0 to 0.25%. I mean, there is a lot of room to do it because the inflationary concern is there, but to raise the rates now would do damage to an economy that's becoming less intense. So I think that because, for example, that one rate is so low, its normal monetary tools, it has a lot of ability to eventually control that inflation as we then get back next year to a pay-as-you-go government.
Let's get to an email. Mike wrote in. Mike in South Carolina wrote, I received real estate from my father. His cost was $170,000, and my sale price is $250,000. So how do I figure out the capital gains taxes? Tracy?
Yeah.
Well, if his father passed away, do you get stepped-up basis on a house?
You do, right, Joe?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. So right now he's sitting pretty.
Well, no, he didn't.
The question
it doesn't
is,
sound like his father passed away. If
well, then that's an entirely different story. If it was gifted, he has to deal with the gift tax rules. When somebody dies and they gift you, and you inherit something, you inherit it at fair market value. So if $250 was the fair market value, he's sitting on $250,000 right now that he can turn around and sell. And it's all his. Not
to wish ill on his father, though. Maybe he's still alive. So, Joe, how do you treat the capital gains on that home?
If it was gifted during life, then his basis is his father's basis.
Right.
And remember, you then have to find out, was it residential property the father was living in, or was it an income-producing property where they depreciated the value of the building but not the land ever? So there's more questions that you have to ask inside of there. And always remember, that's one of the value of not transferring things right at the end of life. Wait till somebody passes away and accept it that way if you possibly can.
Right. To Joe's point, now this is going to eat, presuming his father's still alive, will eat into his lifetime gift tax exclusion, and then there could be gift tax implications depending on how much he's gifted over his lifetime.
Connie, anything to add, Connie?
Well, earlier we were talking about the rates going up, and I think that there could be a sudden surge of buying if buyers out there who have been on the fence perceive that this upward trend will continue. So in the short term, we actually might see more activity, but I'm really concerned because our buyer pool is so small. I'm also concerned that the tax credit is soon to expire, and with a lot of people not moving forward because they're concerned about their job security. Yes. I think that there should be some discussion about if this tax credit is going to extend into the next year, because I think we desperately need it.
To Connie's point, that tax credit expires, first-time homebuyers credit expires November 30th, so you've got to go out there and go buy your homes. Congressman Joe Sestak, do you want to have a last, we know you have to go, you got a last word for us?
She has a wonderful point. We need to extend it, and we need to increase it. When they did this back in 74, 75, it was $2,000. Inflationary-wise, it should be $12,000. Our housing market will lead us out of this recession. We got to do a lot for it.
And lift the income cap? Congressman?
Take it away from make it for everybody, not just first-timers.
Lift them also, yes.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
I'm with you, Connie. Don't thank us. You start thanking the congressman and all his fellow lawmakers. Congressman Joe Sestak, we know you have to run. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. But for everybody out there listening and watching, there's a lot more time to get your questions answered this morning.
So call us, or maybe you're listening to us. Either way, we're here for you on the Fox Business Network Live on a Saturday morning in True HD.